Peace family, today I want to talk about 3 different ways that you can add self-care to your daily routine. Now, the first thing I want to talk about is meditation. The second thing I'm going to talk about is chanting or mantras. And the third thing I'm going to talk about is affirmations. Now, all these things seem like they fall into the same category, but they're very different and they serve different purposes. So I'm not going to do a long extended talk about this, but I want to go over briefly so you can maybe try adding one of these self-care routines to your daily routine. Meditation is often seen as something where you have to sit still, clear your mind, maybe put your fingers like this and chant Om or something like that. That's usually what people tell me. Meditation is simply a focus or a discipline. It's an act of stillness, and that takes time to work up to, but I want to tell you a few ways not to do it so you don't get stuck. The first thing I don't want you to do is try to clear your mind. It seems counterintuitive, but that's the last thing you want to do because you're putting physical effort into trying not to think about anything, and that does not work. It doesn't work at all. For me, how I started was the first thing I did was I would just focus on my breath. I would literally close my eyes and lean up against the wall. And then I'd focus on inhaling through my nose and exhaling through my mouth. And I would just do that for a couple times, just and really focus on the air going into my nose, down into my lungs, absorbing it into my abdomen, holding it there, and then breathing out a few times just to clear my mind, slow my breathing down, and be present in the moment. The second thing I would do is try to visualize myself in an empty room. And as thoughts would come, originally I tried to push them away and say, stop thinking about that. But that didn't work. So I kind of pictured it as a movie. I learned to see my thoughts or distractions as things that would pass by, and I'm watching them, but I'm not responding, I'm not judging, and I'm not reacting in any type of way. And that happens a lot. Sometimes when you're being quiet, your brain actually has a moment to process certain things that we've been taking in throughout the day. So sometimes you want to make a list. Sometimes you feel like, let me write that down before I forget it. If you thought of it once, you can think of it again. I promise you. So if you learn to sit there and see the thoughts come and watch the thoughts pass, it helps a whole lot. If you internalize it sort of like a movie instead of trying to force yourself not to think of anything, it helps a lot. It helped a lot for me when I first got started. Certain times it's still hard to go into meditation depending on the type of environment that I've been in or what's going on in my brain, if I'm under stress, things like that. But meditation is really important because one, it develops discipline. If there's something that you can do every day consistently that helps develop your willpower into your discipline. And it doesn't have to be something that you do for 30 minutes or even 15 minutes every day. You can work up to that if you would like. But if you started with literally 1 minute every day, that would help. If you started with 5 minutes every day, that would help. So don't feel overwhelmed and don't put unnecessary pressure on yourself to say, all right, I'm going to get up every day and meditate for 20 minutes. It's unrealistic. No matter if you're disciplined with your eating, if you're disciplined with exercising, being still is really an art form in and of itself that anyone can learn, but you want to develop that skill just like with anything else. Some of the benefits really include de-stressing, clarity, definitely clarity. On the days that I don't meditate, I can really tell the difference in my work habits, if I'm all over the place when I have a million things to do, versus being able to multitask or prioritize effectively. And that really makes a difference. If you're a busy person, if you're juggling a family, friends, work in school, whatever it is, it helps a whole lot. The second thing I want to talk about is chanting and or mantras. It depends on what you call it. The reason why chanting or mantras are important is, one, because of the vibratory pattern that it creates throughout your nervous system. Different parts of your body resonate on different frequencies and different vibrations. And without going all the way into cymatics and things like that, understand that your heart, your lungs, your brain, your private areas, different organs, the glands in your body all vibrate at different frequencies. Even disease, which is dis-ease, cancer, heart disease, things like that, stress, all those things affect the vibratory patterns in your body. And the lower those vibratory patterns are, the more susceptible you are to illness and disease. So we want to keep ourselves in alignment with the body's natural processes. And sometimes stress, heartbreak, anxiety, overworking, lack of sleep, improper nutrition, all those things play a factor in how our bodies vibrate and resonate on the proper frequencies. So it's really important to chant or to repeat mantras in a certain way. Now, it does not have to be complicated, which is why you hear a lot of people chant Om, A-U-M or O-M, because what a lot of physicists have found, biologists have found, is that when we chant certain sounds, they're sometimes called bijas, B-I-J-A, bijas or seed sounds. When we chant those sounds, they create a different vibratory pattern, even as I'm talking, because all sound resonates on a certain frequency and it creates a pattern. And you can look up cymatics, C-Y-M-A-T-I-C-S. You can look up cymatics or look up any type of experiments that have been done where a sound is played and there will be either sand, salt, or water on any particular medium, a surface, metal, glass, what have you. And when the sound is played right in front of you, it creates a shape or pattern within the medium that is on the surface. And scientists have found and physicists have found that the same thing happens within us. Even our attitudes, our words, our actions, they all create a different vibratory pattern. There was a guy, I can't remember his name right now. He was an Asian gentleman, and he did an experiment with water to see how the words that we say affect the patterns that the water creates. There was also one done with rice, where if you said certain words, because they resonate with a certain frequency, if you say certain words like hate or anything negative, versus if you say certain words like love and appreciation, positive words, to the same type of medium, it was rice, and most of the experiments, the outcomes were vastly different. And I encourage you to go look some of these things up so you can see for yourself, or even try it for yourself to see what those outcomes are. So the reason why chanting and mantras are really important is because, one, you're creating a vibratory space within yourself, and you want it to resonate on a certain frequency that will be optimal for health and wellness. That brings me into my third area of self-care, which is affirmations. And affirmations are a way to reprogram and maintain mental focus and discipline. And this is what I mean, because there is a misunderstanding sometimes with affirmations that it's either, for those people, it's hooky or that people are just trying to psych themselves into believing that there's something they're not. And I heard one person say, people are so dumb because they think they can talk themselves into a better life. Well, I understand why that concept, as black and white as it is, may seem crazy. You cannot talk yourself into a better life. But what scientists have found is that our brains have different neurological programming that is directly connected to our thoughts, beliefs, and words that we say. This is science. This is not someone's opinion. And so when you say things like, I'm stupid, or that's just my luck, or nothing good ever happens for me, what the law of attraction says, which is a universal principle, what that says is, this is what you want, this is who you are. And when you begin to internalize that that's who you are, that is how you will operate. Your brain goes to work helping you to get to the places where you've told it it's supposed to be. So there's two parts of your brain, your conscious and your subconscious. And you'll hear people call it different things. Some people say it's the captain and the crew, things like that, where the captain gives the orders and the crew carries those orders out. So your subconscious brain is actually most active in your mind. It's completely more active than your conscious mind. And I encourage you guys, for anything that I'm saying, if you don't know about or it gives you pause, to look it up. Look up the research. But you have a subconscious mind and a conscious mind. And so your conscious mind is effective in that it can give the orders. And you're giving your mind orders every moment, every second of the day, whether you realize it or not. The subconscious mind goes to work. And the only thing the subconscious mind knows is compliance. And this is why you hear a lot of neuroscientists say it takes 21 days to make or break a habit. Or you'll hear athletes say you have to develop muscle memory. Because what's happening is you're programming your mind to believe what you've told it to believe. So if every day you say, I am intelligent versus, man, I'm stupid, or I'm always messing up, you're going to program your mind to now believe I can do anything. Anything is possible for me if I work hard. And these things are very important. And so sometimes people get dissuaded when they don't see results the next day, or they say, well, look at my life isn't changing. Not understanding that even that little bit of negativity, you're programming your mind to believe that. So if you tell your mind, I can write a book in 40 days. Your mind, even though consciously you don't know how to do it, your mind will go to work to figure out how to make our reality be present. So this is the reality for your subconscious mind. We can write a book in 40 days. Now your subconscious mind is going to work saying, how do we do it? Because we know it's true. The conscious mind told us. Now our job is to figure out how to do it. If you say, I want to learn a new skill, or you say, I want to travel the world. If you say, I want to quit my job in a year and never work for someone again and become an entrepreneur, your subconscious mind goes to work figuring out how to make those things happen. So I would encourage you to try all three of these things, actually, and it doesn't have to be overwhelming. It doesn't have to take a long time. I incorporate all of these things, and how long I do it, how I do it, and things like that. I don't want you to focus on that. I don't want you to focus on the details of how someone else practices their self-care in these types of ways. I want you to just give it a try. Research if you will, but if today you wrote down 3 things that are a goal for you, or something that's positive that you can say about yourself. Write those 3 things down and say those 3 things every single day to yourself for at least 3 weeks, at least. And if you get to day 21 and you feel like, oh, nothing's changed, don't quit. Muscle memory, creating new habits. Remember, a lot of the habits that we've had them much longer than our attempts at trying to create a new one. So if you eat unhealthy, you've probably been eating unhealthy for a lot longer than you've been eating healthy. If you're trying to work out, you've probably been in a place where working out is not a part of your routine for much longer than working out has been a part of your routine. So I encourage you to stick with it. All 3 of these self-care habits help to build discipline, which will translate into every other area of your life. I promise. So I encourage you to maybe spend a few minutes in meditation, literally a few minutes. It doesn't have to be long. Don't overwhelm yourself. A few minutes of meditation. Stand in your mirror and affirm yourself every single day and try to chant maybe one thing. If you start with Om, O-M-A-U-M, Om. If you start with that and just do it 3 or 4 times every single day, it will literally take less than 10 minutes of your entire day, but you will see amazing effects. So stick with it, be encouraged, and let me know in the comments if you have any questions, if you're getting stuck, and if it works for you, how it worked. Give me some of your tips, routines, how you got started, so other people who are watching this video, they can be encouraged too. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next video.